And you will now tune in.
You know what it is.
My opinions are facts podcast.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Welcome everybody. My opinions are facts. Coming late night. Gonna talk about the Bigge Dipset albums.
Today
Anniversary.
anniversary.
Yeah. Big
Now
albums,
me.
man.
Shit, which one gonna start off with? Biggie? Kick in the
Biggie.
doorway, bid the 4-4.
We'll get with the Biggie one first. Y'all tuning in. Man, if y'all guys was whether they say you outside, whether you was live, have any memory of this coming out, you knew what the temperature was. It was a what the craziest time I could say ever in hip hop as a whole. Because when we seen this coming through, before the album dropped, we got a legendary interview with Joe Claire from Rap City. While he was doing the Hypnotized shoot, he talked about the album and all that. And man, I didn't expect to get this. And I'm gonna say this: yes, I never put Big in my top 10. But I'm gonna tell you this much: this album, I like All Eyes Me better, but this was the best production-wise album you can ever hear in your life. This was something different. Like, ooh, this is what they call audio cinema.
Definitely was because shit, I remember we was in Columbus and shit. I bought the tape when it came out and shit. Now I made the double tape. I was gonna get the CD, but I was like, I got more places. So I probably played the tape. You know what I mean? We had type of selections back then. You know what I mean? Tape or CD, double tape, double CD.
Thanks.
You know what I mean? So I paid about like almost $30. You know what I mean? Columbus Ohio tax crazy. But nah, it's just like, every track you listen to, it just a shock value. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pac died. Everybody's like, you know what I mean, with Pac and this and that and stuff, what's going to happen? Because remember, at the same time, Biggie already died 2 weeks prior. You know what I mean? And what's going to be on the album? Let's say the East Coast, West Coast beef and this and that. What we going to hear? And we find out, and Biggie threw some shots at Pac on the album. You know what I mean? So, and that was whack because, when motherfuckers talk about, sending shots to your ops, even when they dead, Biggie probably the first one that did that. So anyways, but nah, that album was just crazy. So, you know what I mean? Like you got Jay. I love the dough. This for Jay was just anybody. Like, Jay had a little buzz, but it was just mostly like, New York buzz and shit. I love the dough. Jay wasn't Jay what you think he is. Jay wasn't even a top 50 rapper yet. He wasn't a top 50 rapper.
Nah, I understand. It's funny. So Big, we want to say he's the first one that was, you said throwing shots from your words. So he's the first one
on the dead.
Yeah, on the dead.
On the
so
dead.
He's the first one spoke. He's the first one spoke on his ops because he said he came out at Pop. Pop was there when he made, the songs he made.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was crazy because it was a bold thing he did. He went out to the West Coast, spit that freestyle. Of course, it was off of Niggas Bleed, which came to be that song, the freestyle. They
Love you,
on
Becky.
Came in, was Niggas Bleed song. He took that verse off of there. You know what I mean? And it was coming to Pop. Man, it's when we get off that part, because we celebrate the album, and because we get a little deeper than that. So we're celebrating, and man, I remember that coming out. I was wow. I was 8th grade. I remember being that and just hearing it.
Yeah, I was 6. I was 6th grade and shit. Yeah.
And like we knew what was going on, the temperature, because in real time it was different. No matter where you was at, you had to pick a side. And Pop was gone, and Biggie was killed. It was like, wow, And then his
Yeah, both was
masterpiece came
gone.
out.
Nah, but yeah, Hypnotized, of course, the lead single off the album. That shit was nuts. Like the sound and the beat was crazy. You know what I mean? It was
Wordplay.
just like, yeah. And then when you bought the album, like, yo, you heard all the songs, like, yo, Notorious Thugs, like, you know, we're Midwest, so you know, we're in Columbus and shit. You know, Bone's still doing her shit. So when you heard, like, you know, I mean, it's Bone and Biggie, Biggie, it's Bone and Biggie, Biggie, it's Bone and Biggie, Biggie. Like, and then all the dangerous ain't to make a bang with us. Straight though, we don't agent us, don't label us Notorious. Like, you know what I mean? How you spitting like, oh shit, an East Coast nigga doing this shit. But to me, I think Busy Bone still had the best verse on it. You know what I mean? I probably didn't really say that back then because everybody was shocked by how Biggie rapped on it anyways. So, you know what I mean? But I think at the end of the day, I think Busy Bone had the best verse on that. But to me, I hate to say this. The song better than Thug Love. I ain't gonna lie.
I was gonna say it too. That Thug Love was horrible.
It was horrible. Different. It was different because you thought it was with the gut, but you know what I mean. Pac, I listen. I think that was a Pac throwaway verse. Like Pac wasn't rapping like that at all. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy. You know what I mean?
So here's my take on that. So, because we gotta get back to Biggie, that Thug Love verse was horrible. Why? Because it felt to me like it sounded two people was in the studio drunk. Just said some shit. And it was corny, so that's why I said like they was catch a Pac on the time where he was on a move. Yeah, well, he didn't know, but everything was just in real time with him. Like boom, boom, let's go here, do that, do that. So a lot of shit he did was just that song's trash. Even when I heard the first time, I was like, you got hyped the first time, and you said I thought like, yeah, that shit was trash.
Yeah.
Bring it back to
nah.
Yeah, that shit was trash. Like, but bring it back to Life After Death. Man, when you just
good evening.
we just go back, you're like, damn. You hear how the album intro was dope. Then it comes in the fucking niggas bleed like fuck man.
I got kids to feed.
He said
that
agenda.
got the suitcase.
Yeah. To put that suitcase up in the whatever the Centra. Tell him Blanco sent you.
Such a
like dog, like man, that's hard to explain that song. So
somebody's got to die.
Yeah,
if I go, you gotta go. Now, man, kick in the door, wave in the 4-4. Oh, you heard popping door, hit me no more. Who was that about?
That was Goldface.
Nah, I mean probably some of that, but you forgot.
That was about Goldface.
Nah.
It was confirmed. Or Nas, my bad. Nas.
Nas said it on Godson. Yeah, Nas said on Godson.
He said we think kicking the door was for.
Yeah, Nas said on Godson underrated.
It was about Nas. It was my bad.
That's what I said, yeah.
Okay.
No, that's what I just said. Nas said it. I agree with you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Nas said, what you think kicking the door was for? Like, we, you know what I mean? And you know, Biggie was throwing shots at Nas. Like, Nas just didn't get that chance yet to retaliate on Big, but, you know, he passed. You know, same thing with Victory and shit. You know, Nas just didn't have a chance to retaliate. So, but anyways, though, we had what? Fucking You. Kels killed that hook. You know what I mean? That shit was different. I don't want to say, you know what I mean? Oh, that she's whining, dining. You know what I mean? Like, yo, Kels killed that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Kels is great with music, you know what I mean? And that hook and everything. And you know what I mean? If Big was alive, I think they would have made a video for that. You know what I mean? Of course, they'll switch up a couple words because how it is.
Remix,
Last Days. My bad, cut you off. You got something?
No, go ahead.
Last Days, like, yo, that was like the Locks coming out party. Like the Locks really, yo, they went in on that. And it was something new how they rap. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're from Yonkers and shit, but like, yo, that was different how they was spitting. You know what I mean? You know what's about when I'm romping your house and that. You know what I mean? Half the instance, I give this a French kiss, like Jada, they're always crazy on that. You know what I mean? I can imagine if Big stayed live longer, how all of them would have came about, because that would have been crazy. I've been crazy. All four of them. That's a whole different monster. Like four of them. Know what I mean? Love the dough. Jay, like I said, you know what I mean? With the backstory, Jay-Z wrote his rhymes for that only because he didn't want to, you know what I mean, sound like he do with Big Dude and write from, you know what I mean, from the head and stuff. So that's the only reason why, you know what I mean, Jay wrote his verse on that. Yeah. Oh, you didn't know the backstory? Someone came with a pad. I forgot who it was. Came with the pad. It was like, all right, you know what I mean, you gotta write your stuff. Big slid to Jay. I don't write nothing. Jay did that right back. And then Big slid right back. And Jay was like, you know what I mean? He wrote because he didn't sound like, you know what I mean, we did with Jay. Oh, yeah. You could look that up. I bet that.
But yeah,
My Cash App in the right-hand corner.
That's your story.
Know what I mean? But yeah, Jay wrote his rhymes for that. He wrote it. You ever heard different? You ever heard different?
Continue on.
I'll play it to you, but you ever heard different? Nah.
Continue
but
on.
Anyways, with beef is with you. Nah, I mean, don't you know my kind of kids in that? Throw him over the bridge. Turned out that was fake. His boy Gutter was like, yo, why you say that, bro? They didn't talk to him for how long? What you looking like? You like Uncle Marvin off of Power.
Because I'm confused. Like, you talking about, we knew. I mean, yeah, but you shooting down Big, like, we knew that was
Nah, I was getting to it. I was spitting the bars, but nah. I'm just saying.
We know it was fake. I'm like, of course it was. It was storytelling.
Nah, well, everybody don't know right now who's watching and listening probably never knew that. Ever. I mean, people comment whoever knew that whose Gutter is. Anybody know Gutter was living with Biggie the whole time?
See Gutter. We get him right.
I don't care. T Gutter, where you at? B.I.G. keeping neck cream. Just always say, what the hell does that mean? That's actually the next track on the CD. That's crazy. Never knew that. Never put that together and stuff. See, eye for the way it goes in and out. One by one, I knocks them out. That's the interlude. And I'm gone. And then more money, more problems. CBJ just talked about this like a couple weeks ago. That was originally a Mace song. And Biggie had I've Been Around the World. And they just trade tracks. But Mace had the best verse to me. I don't even like Biggie's verse on her. Like, for real. I don't even like it. I think Biggie, I don't know why I don't like his verse. Never did, even back then. But probably because Mace killed it and always ran back Mace's verse. But it's a classic song. I remember that whole summer, 97. Like, man, that's all you heard. Like, you know what I mean? That song.
Well, we know I'm gonna say why Mace's verse is better than Diddy's. First of all, Mace and Diddy.
We know that because he wrote it and this and that. It's Diddy. I mean,
all right. Well, I'm gonna explain. So, what Biggie was, he was sticking to the script of the album. So his was more street, which was like, that's why it was last. To me, it should be last. The party feeling of that song, that's what Mace brought to it. Of course, it was a song anyway, but that's the party vibe to it. Biggie took to a whole different level to where, I mean, people like it because you had that little catchphrase, throw your rolling in the sky. That was about it. Other than that, it was just too much. Like, bro, like, we partying. We talking about everybody get kidnapped in the basement and all this, whatever. Like, nah, that
tap the soul and the phone in the basement.
Yeah, that didn't fit the song. You was going for an audience and the audience that you went to don't even like that song. It's too commercial. You know what I'm saying? So that's why that verse was so off on that song and didn't fit the song. But he passed. So, and I don't know, but like I said, that song was the biggest one. That's what made that single go diamond. Honestly,
Singing with Diamond.
that or my single, but the album went diamond off that single. That single was the reason why they went diamond. You can check the scoreboard on that.
Yeah.
That song played from 97 to 99.
Right.
And it still plays. You go to your lunch hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
that was
everything, we hear that song come on, who's hot, who's not. That's what you remember off that song. You remember nothing else for real, for real?
Shiny
You don't.
Suits.
Shiny Suits and who's hot, who not, who you rock, who drops, who shoes got rock. That and this, you see the red Yankee hat? Back then, that shit was new then. Like, oh shit, red Yankee.
Yeah. Once you see a different Yankee hat, yo, that shit was everything. Now I
Yeah,
mean,
so
everybody,
that's shit for
yeah.
culture.
That's
So
the first time teams start having different color hats and shit.
I'm gonna go another one. I'm gonna say this is why like I said, Biggie is probably the best in the pocket. That's why I think Jay took so much off of him, or Barra to say off of him, because no one couldn't do hooks and rhymes the way Biggie did. Because
Yeah.
normally when you have an R&B person do some certain type of shit, Biggie was able to do that. So he did go
Yeah.
back to Cali, for instance, like, man, like, you're like, yo, even nobody ever been here, like, that's how Cali's like. That's why he wants to go back. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Also, too, like East Coast motherfuckers didn't understand Cali because they never been there. Like, remember, New York motherfuckers, they're so biased. They stay in the tri-state area. So,
but
you know what I mean?
certain artists did
Yeah.
though. So I'm gonna give a shout out to Master Ace. He knew about the Cali sound because he was the
Yeah.
first one out there really embrace it. And shit, if you didn't know Master Ace, there's all y'all young ones out there who don't know. Master Ace was really the first one to go out to Cali and embrace the sound from New York. He was straight from the oh man, the crew. I can't remember him, Cool G Rap, and all them dudes. The Symphony. That crew, I forget that crew was called. He come in that era. He went out to Cali and just like boom, had a whole new sound. So when Biggie got out there, it gave him the same flavor, man. Like, and then Biggie just going back to Cali was one of them. Woo! Shout out to Easy Mo B for the beat. Him and CBJ. Yeah, that beat was lace. And the way Biggie wrote that, Biggie, give me one more chance in the freeway, man. Like, my homeboy Lance, yo, like, man, the way he wrote that, no one could ride a pocket like Biggie, man. No one could.
Nah. And also too, yo, that song, you know, of course he got from Cool J, LL Cool J, but I don't know who had the best version. I think, you know what I mean, you know, LL, his was slower tempo, so it's all about how you feeling. You know what I mean? But no, I mean, but yo, it just all right for like I got a story to tell was dope.
Let's see how that was. Storytell. Think about that one. Oh, he had a story about Charles Oakley. Or not Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason.
Anthony Mason.
The last verse is about him.
And
his girl.
It took what from that came out in 97. It took Fat Joe to say that I think it was 2018. He came out with it.
No. He said that shit back 2011 on what was that show on ESPN?
It was after 2011 with Poppy off of
but
that
was
ESPN.
2011 because they shut down. Yeah, 2011. What was it? Damn, I can't remember that show. But him,
Bomani and they said, you're right because you know why? Because they was at the Cleveland Earth. They already had the backdrop of the Cleveland Earth.
I remember watching
Miami Heat years.
Something behavior. Yeah, something behavior. I can't remember behavior, something whatever. But he told a story on there. But man, listen, that last is like that was a true story. That's crazy.
Yeah, but damn, you know what? Someone need to show what she looked like. Now I mean, because we know. R.I.P. Anthony Mason. He was good. He was a great role player, but he was the best looking one. And so big ass man, like what she look like. Now I want to know what she looked like. Now I mean,
only time will tell.
Now I mean, she probably with them dusties. Now I mean, or something.
Nah,
like,
I couldn't see that.
Yeah, but still, it's just like yo, Biggie had to come at you. Know what I mean, your girl. You know what I mean.
She had to be a baddie. Like I'm not gonna risk.
Yeah, she had to be a baddie.
Dud. We're not risking for a dud. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah. And Man, you go to one of my favorite songs on the
Missing
album.
you, missing you.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, you think that's something probably dropped like after he passed. Well, it did come out
Now,
after he passed, but
yeah, so that one, Missing You, was like, man, that I know there was truth in that album because I'm pretty sure that probably happened not to him personally, maybe, but somebody who he knew, whatever. But I think it was probably him because remember that time. You got to think from 90. We're talking about his life. He rapped about from 94 to 97. And remember, back a lot of 93, 94, he was still hustling because they was
right.
getting the money in Bad Boy. So he probably had that happen, you know what I'm saying, on the Miss You song. That's why the shit was deep as fuck. Like, you can hear it because to me, when he does it in pocket, try to make it go smooth, boom, boom, yeah. But that one, there was some truth to it, man. Either was it him or somebody else, man. Got beef for straight flour. You know what I mean? Competition ring like a shot. Like, man, yeah. Everybody felt that, man. You know, somebody passed in your life in that era. I doubt now because a lot of people
Yeah, it's
listen to it, but
different. Yeah.
in that era, in our era, when you play a song, normally somebody pass, you just play because the hook or whatever, and then biggest is some real shit. Because you know what I mean, you rap about your friend that probably passed more likely, whatever, whatever. That song, yeah, that song hit the heart. Hit the heart, man. Hit the heart.
Yeah. Like, you're nobody till somebody kills you.
That song was so deep and real. Now, how deep that song was, because people got to remember that was coming off the Pac death, and you got to remember at this time it was a dark age of hip hop.
Definitely
So
was.
he knew at that time people was getting more embraced because of death. He probably talking about Pac or whoever else, like or a street person, whatever. But they embraced somebody dying and like, damn, they love him more because he's gone. He get way more love because he's out of here.
What did Jada Kidd said? He be
Rappers
all
get
right though,
more,
because dead rappers get better
get better
promotion.
promotion. And Pop was the first one for that because I'm
Yep.
not saying what he sold, but boy, when he passed, fuck you. It was like an Elvis and Mike. It was like an Elvis effect. Michael Jackson was dead yet, so it was like the Elvis
Yeah.
effect with Pac. Fuck Pac went past Elvis at some point in time
Yeah.
because man, I'm going back when I was going to school, and you know, I mean, the few white people I knew in school, you know, how much they love Tupac. Like these dudes wearing white bandanas, try to speak the language in the whole nine, and have all his discography, everything he ever had. No matter what Pac talked about, because they were like, oh, they understand his fucking mission. Back to Biggie. So when Biggie been nobody, somebody kills you, people really embrace you after you pass because they search to who you was.
Right.
And that's what Biggie was like. What you like, yo, okay, I see what he's about. So when he wasn't biased or he wasn't East Coast, West Coast, you know, so okay, I see what type of person Biggie was. That song was a masterpiece. That was a fucking y'all understand back then, it was like an Alfred Hitchcock. Wes Craven
Yeah.
storytelling,
That's what life after
detail,
death was like. Detail after. Yup. Yeah.
vivid. It was a vivid image of like, yo, the beat was grimy, whatever you know what I'm saying. Like it was, I had a grim to it. Like okay, the grittiness about it was just, is deep, man. That song was real deep.
Yeah. Like my downfall, right? You know, you had DMC. You know what I mean? Hello? Kill you, motherfucker. I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker. Faith? That's
Yeah,
crazy how you put Faith out there like that.
so
But
that's
you
what
know
it
what I mean?
was. You
And
know,
then
they
what
was
Puffy
deep so
said,
crazy.
I ain't gonna lie. What Puff said, you just a jealous motherfucker. You just a weak motherfucker. That's how that shit sound. Remember that shit was, you just a jealous motherfucker. You just a weak motherfucker. That shit was killing, you know what I mean, the game and shit, like on the microphone. But now, I mean, yo.
And because it could ruin something. Think about it.
Yeah,
People,
that nigga, because that nigga, he knew he was going to die. He knew he was going to die. He didn't know how he was going to die, but he just knew he was going to die. Same thing with Pac. Them niggas knew they was going to die.
Biggie knew he
But
was gonna get shot. Biggie knew he was
yeah.
gonna kill.
That's why I mean that they knew both, like each other knew it's going to be some assassination. You know what I mean? They're not going to just die by natural causes. They knew niggas was out to kill them. They were so knee deep in this shit. You know what I mean? So That's why they rap what they rap. Like, know what I mean? They knew, especially Big after Pac died, and we're so backwards back then because we didn't have enough info back then. So back then, like back in 97, 96, we had 2 magazines, maybe 3 or 4 of the underground. But you know what I mean? Double XL, not double XL, the Source. You had, Word Magazine and that, but no one was really getting that. So you just say mainly Source, but you get that month to month. News and life is every damn day, every damn second.
You forgot
So
the main one. Vibe. Vibe started as beef.
Yeah, Vibe started the shit. So at the end of the day, so you know what I mean, we think it's one way. So we're thinking Pac had something to, you know what I mean, Biggie had something to do with Pac's death. That's why one of the reasons why Biggie died, because we were so news was so slow back then. We had no news. So say like MTV, yeah, they play some rap, but you know what I mean, you didn't get rappers on there all the time. You know what I mean? They wasn't having rappers on all the time, so everybody couldn't get their story out. So if Biggie was on her, it'd be for like 30 seconds. You know what I mean? So
I'm gonna get a little deeper. Hold on, I'm gonna cut you off. So at that time, you watch MTV, right? If y'all some real people that watch how I used to watch shit, so every top of the hour, probably 2 minutes, like let's say the time's 11:58, you'll have Kurt Loder, MTV News. You know what they report? The latest that they heard about East Coast West Coast beef. Biggie said this, Pac did that. So that's how we got our instant news. It might have took us like an hour or two to get the news, but we got the news. And when they report about the beef. They report about this and that. So that was our Instagram. It just took longer to see it. But when we seen it, we seen the negative shit behind it. This, that was going on. So when people go around like, yo, that's what we see, us normal people, think about it. You have kids. There's kids and people that are fighting over Biggie and Pac. We know these dudes. I witnessed this before. People punching somebody about saying who bet on Biggie and Pac. Civilians, regular people.
Nah, let's keep it real. How motherfuckers fight nowadays about Jordan and LeBron, that's how it was with Biggie and Pac back then.
Yep.
That's exactly how it was. But it's worse because motherfuckers it was worse because motherfuckers would beat you up. They'll fight over it. They'll kill each other about it.
Man, I remember just knowing like people get beat up and killed. Who was better at Biggie and Pac? So we was divided. Yeah. Back to the album though. I'm gonna
get this because we still got Dipset. We still got Dipset in the back burner. So at the end of the day, with that album,
there's a couple more songs we'll get to, but go ahead.
I mean, of course, you're nobody. I already said that. I already said that. Nasty Boy, I thought was dope, but it's crazy. It's crazy. It wasn't a highlight song off the album. And for real, it could have been a throwaway song. You know what I mean? Because no one talked about that song. And you know what? You know what that reminded me of? Even though both of these songs got Lil Kim in it, it's kind of like off of Volume 1 with Jay-Z, I Know What Girls Like. That in like I said, was another one. It's like the same kind of song in a way. I mean, Never is more better though, but it just, you know what I mean. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, let's go to Nasty Boy. Jay-Z took that whole first verse for his shit.
Yeah.
And the hook, you know what I'm saying, for Nasty Boy. Like, you know what I mean? I go on and the opponent. BT's, you know what I mean? Sex with Trauma, like that one. Like you got to remember the first verse off I'm a hustler, baby. Was that Give It
to
Me? Yeah. When the Remy's in the system,
that's
off the whole verse of Jay. Big. It was off this bit, you know what I mean? And that's the world is filled with crazy hoes. That was, you know what I mean? Jay brought off. Dog, y'all. I wish y'all would understand. I'm not talking about the newer ones. It's cool if y'all don't know, because I was an era where I didn't know about Karis One too much or Houdini. But for y'all want to say, oh, Jay, yo, go listen to Biggie, and you see why Jay, he'll never say it, but he knew Biggie was better than him. Yeah. Now, like I said, when Remy's in the system, ain't no telling fucking with this on Pimp My Blood, but you know what I mean? He got the whole thing on with Biggie's verse off that song. All you do is play the song. You know what I'm saying? Like, Another one with Lil Kim that was so dope. That trade off, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was dope. It was dope.
What would you do
It
if your
just
girl was untrue? You
untrue.
cut the hickle off and find someone new. I need another bitch in my life. Man,
I
is it
know
Lil
you all
Kim?
treat you like I treat you.
Treat you.
Girl sucking
Man, come
up,
on.
y'all. But nah. At the end of
Mm-mm-mm.
the day, Five Mike album deserved it. It lived up to the
Super
hype.
fire.
It's messed up. He passed away. Um, I hate to say it, but like, yo,
Kicking
I
the
mean,
door. Wait, how did I start off?
now I
Kicking the
said
door,
kick in the
waving.
door, waving the full. Oh
All
yeah,
time Papa
yeah.
don't hit me no
Just level
more.
top of short, rain on top of short like
So like
leprechauns.
Leprechaun. So-called Willies a rap phenomenons. Yo, I wish I would go back and play
Bars,
that. But
listen,
yeah,
bars and everything.
the bars was 20 plus 20 bars. Bar level, that shit was that high. I can't
It's
reach to the
like,
bar level.
yo, I'll be mad if he named me in that song because I mean
Oh
that shit was crazy.
man.
But listen, let's get one more track. Talk about one more track, one last track. Sum this album up. We gotta get the Dipset. So one more. So the last track, his last video. No, he wasn't in it, but Sky's the limit. Yo, everything how he was talking about, yo, just living like how he said, like, yo, it was just different. Like, motherfuckers felt that. Sky's the limit, you felt that. Like, when you a young kid, didn't have shit growing up and shit and this and that, like, you felt that song. It's like rags to riches. I remember I saying that when I was a little kid, we was back there. I'm like, yo, it's like one of the greatest rags to richest songs. Like, I think, if you ask me, I think, you know what I mean? Because you can say that same thing with Juicy. But I'm gonna say this: I think Sky Limit is better than Juicy. A lot of people won't admit that.
Yeah.
I understand. It's what you grew up with, because you know, music is like, you know what I mean, what influenced you at the time and what times you had within them songs playing in the earth, you know what I mean, time period. But you know what I mean, Sky's the Limit was different. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm gonna
but
say
at the
this.
end of the day,
Okay, my bad. I'm gonna say
go.
what remind me of like when Biggie remind me of like Eminem. Both of them when they had their first song, like, ooh, it was deep. They took it to that different level. So when Biggie had Juicy, like, okay, it was all dream, boom, boom. It was all the hip hop and all that, whatever, and hit a little bit of his upbringing. But Sky's the Limit really embraced his maturity as a writer, as a songwriter, and an artist. I never met it broke as me. I like that. You know what I'm saying? Like people felt like, yo,
Besides that, the pinstripes to the gray, the one you find in the butt, you know
man,
what I mean? Side talkers of a shirt and alligators. You want to
I
see
see you later.
you know what I mean? See the tag? I see you later. You know what I mean? Wow. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's crazy because now if I went through it, I see motherfuckers went through it in school. You know
Yeah, I
what I
see
mean?
people
But
work
ain't
for
nobody gonna
me and
test
all that.
me.
Yeah, you see
I'll
that
beat your
shit.
motherfucking ass. But like, you know what I mean? But nah, you know, it just, I mean, it was just, what you saying and shit, it was just, it's real shit. You went through it. You know what I mean? But, you know, great album, Five Mics, one of the greatest albums ever, top 10 albums ever.
I think it's the best produced album ever in life. If I say production wise, ain't nothing fucking with that. I ain't gonna lie to you. And I'll keep it real. For all your fans out there, I like All Eyes on Me better, but Life After Death was a better produced album because Big had more time to do it. Pac came home, he knew he only had a little bit of time left. Whether it was gonna be death or go back to jail, losing the appeal, he knew that whatever. Everybody's giving songs here, take this, take this. As for Biggie, was able to sit back because he wasn't in that situation and produce his album, and he was able to sit in with his producers and work on the magic. Pac didn't have that chance to do that
But some,
until go
oh, my
ahead.
bad, guy. Nah, some of this
Until
album, you know, one of the greatest ones. So,
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Hey,
yep.
put this way, the album to go out on, this is the album. Same thing with Pac. Album to go out on, I mean, Machiavelli too. I mean, you can say Machiavelli because all eyes, but
I'm gonna
both
put
of them.
that.
Because they both came
Machiavelli
out the
was
same
better.
year.
Yeah, Machiavelli was
So,
better than All Eyes on Me.
so to go out on both of them albums as your last, being alive, they both won on that one. They both ate. You know what I mean? So now It's time to get to Dipset, 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 Dipset.
Man. And I'm gonna say it because we're not from New York.
Casa. Yeah.
I'm gonna go. We're not from New York, but man, I'm gonna tell you, and this was important. Some bring this fact I brought up earlier.
Soon as
Wow.
ball touched the streets, I probably shackled up with a bus with beats. Know what I mean?
All air. I was talking. I was like, yo. I was like, the year was 2003. So I'm talking about for Rockefeller Camp. Jay was on record saying this on the Breakfast Club. He told his crew that he really was involved with, not this at State Prop, like, yo, get the music you need to get, put it out. Because this guy 50 Cent's coming. And it's gonna be the wave. And you're not gonna be able to put nothing through there, and nobody gonna listen to what you got to say. Fast forward to Dipset. This album that came out, we love Gina. That's my favorite group out of all time, man. 50 Cent, my favorite rapper of all time. Niggas know. Anybody ever know we know, they're gonna say, yeah, he ain't lying. This ain't no publicity stunt. But when the Dipset
he was
out,
the biggest Jay fan ever.
Crossover.
Yeah.
Listen, 50, I mean, that's in the past. Let me stick to the point. When this came out, because this came out around the time Give It Style Trying, a little couple weeks after, much as I played that album, this Dipset album right here,
right here,
man, that shit was nothing. Man, oh my God. Like, listen, they're the reason that shows you if you make powerful music, it don't matter what the fuck's out there killing shit, you can make noise. And that Dipset album did that. Just damn
Who
it.
am I? Who am I?
Man, you could go back.
Am I? You
think
think a man would never cry? Damn. Jewels? Bars. Like, that's all you can say. Yo, it's just like, yo. That's all you could do. It's just like, yo, you just hear them tracks. Like, to sum that album up, they heard the tracks. It's just like, yo, even Jim, that's when Jim Jones coming out party was that album. Without that album, there'll be no Jim Jones. Why you look like that, B? Why you look like that?
You go,
nah.
man.
I mean, real fake, yo. If that album never came out, we had no Jim Jones. Know what I mean? Ground Zero, real niggas.
Part, yeah.
Know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? More to be like the Dipset anthem. Like,
let's stick to the Dipset. Let's get to the fucking goddamn.
Today's agenda. Got the super.
Let's go to the meat potatoes, right? So this album, I can remember this shit. Shout out to HB, man. I gotta give a shout to him. I have to. Shout out to HB, man. I remember him and Rob, whoever with New York came back. Before the CD came out, they had a bootleg shit.
No, they had bootleg. The album was supposed to be in store, but it had that tag on it.
All right, well, they had a bootleg.
It's not. No, it was a bootleg. It was official CD. It wasn't supposed to be on shelves. He got it before it's supposed to be on the shelves.
Okay, he got the unofficial release, but he got the real copy. So he came back. I remember the first song he played was the goddamn dum dum da 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 dum dum dum. Ooh, today's a new day. Got the suitcase up at the center. Set Motown Harlem. Tell them that I sent you. Woo! Like,
I see a town. I like it.
Man. Wow. My bad, y'all. I'm gonna say
I know.
It's
just messed up. I hate the copyright shit for, you know what I mean, social platforms. You can't play the songs. Know what I mean? Just to play the songs is like, yo, listen. It's so crazy different era. Now, I mean, that was 22 years ago. 22 years ago. Now, I mean, it's not no streaming. So you went and you bought the CDs. You went there, you're playing the songs. You see the videos. You know what I mean? You see how they dress. That's where everybody started having the bandana cop. You know what I mean? This and that. That's when everybody had a canary colored diamonds and stuff, and people wearing pink. You know what I mean? This when you
Let's get
had,
to
you
the
know,
music part. I
airbrush,
understand that as influence.
we got the airbrush colored clothing and this and that and stuff. You know what I
Let's get
mean?
to
You know what I mean?
they know about the music
What's
influence
really
part, the
good?
fashion.
What's really good? Tell them what's really good, B.
Let's talk about this. Yeah, let's talk about the
Okay.
song. So when you had a song, it's like, yo, we didn't have this shit before. The shit they came with, nobody was bringing the music they brought. Nowhere. So we heard that fucking shit. Like, what I heard, like, we knew Cam, but man, he just came different. Like, I really mean it. That was the video, but
don't go.
oh, that man, come on, man, that shit was crazy because they brought an intro video, but it's like, yo, man,
what's really good? Nothing.
That simple, yo.
Yo, it's crazy. X was like, what's really good? And Cam was like, nothing. No, man, that's crazy.
Stupid.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say on track. We just all over the place.
Built this city on that. This city. They are, you know what I mean? About it. I bounce through the ounce to my crib like a fountain blues down to no so white only pumping Mountain Dew. You know what I mean? Like Killer Cam. He said he about it. Oh, there. Oh, yeah. You guys credit for that, KLC. Mia X got credit on that too. As a writer.
Yeah, the song.
Yeah, but she didn't need to get credit for the writer for the song, so
Said
she
the
wrote
hook,
something.
like when you're on a song, you'll be said about it. She said about it too. She said the hook too.
I you know me, I didn't know that. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, whatever on that, you know, things change, whatever, this and that. Woo-woo.
So yes, yeah.
But nah, you know, by the time the shit touched the streets, I probably shack it up on the bus with beats. But I'm gonna get high anyways. Anyway, you know what I mean? Like, yo, you want to be gangsters? Listen to me. First year teaching, you get your degree. You know what I mean? Damn. That's why I wish you could play the songs on her. It's crazy, but I ain't trying to get it copyright strike. But like, damn. Freeway killed his shit. Freeway don't get his respect on the album, but like, yo, he's the only feature on the album. Now, I mean, Ground Zero, Real Niggas. Like, yo, the whole album is a fucking classic. Like, yo, if you had to rate this fucking album and you gave this shit less than 5 fucking mics, you need your fucking ass beat. Like, real shit. You need your ass beat, and then we're making a video getting your ass beat. And now me, and then we're doing whatever else. But like, it's just one of them albums that made that decade. It made that decade. Well, yeah, we had Cam Come Home With Me, but like, yo, from Come Home With Me to Diplomatic Immunity, it was one of the best transitions, especially put your crew on. And 50 and Cam did the best shit. They dropped their solo shits and then merged onto their group albums. And look, yo, you can't do nothing better than that. You can't. Like, from Get Rich or Die Trying to you know what I mean, G.U. and Beg for Mercy. Then you got Cameron, Come Home With Me to Diplomatic Immunity, like, and put your crew on at the same time. Like, yo, you gotta tip their hats. Like, no one can do it better than that. Cause even when Nelly tried to do that, it felt like when Nelly did that shit with him and what's the name of the group? St. Lunatics. Mm-hmm. You still felt more of, don't get me wrong, Murphy Lee did his shit too, but you just felt more of Nelly, no matter what. But don't get me wrong, Murphy Lee did his shit. But I mean, the rest of the crew, you just didn't really feel. You know what I mean? They just had like little verses that carry you over to the next person. But nah, G-Unit was different. Dipset was different. And we knew even back then, Jim wasn't the best fucking rapper. Like, Jim sucked, but he didn't suck. He filled in and made it. Put it this way, Jim, to me, outside Murphy Lee and Murphy Lee and, you know, of course, I don't want to say Nelly because he's the head of the group. Jim was better than everybody in St. Lunatics other than Murphy Lee. But in the long run, Jim was better than Murphy Lee because Murphy Lee just he after with the beat going to be or whatever the song was, that was the end of him. Jim Jones further on his career, but yeah. Yeah, I don't want to explain Genius. You know what Genius did.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm going through the songs and thinking about them. I really mean it. That one right there, that was Cam solo song that on the album that really solidified him. Just saying lines like Oz Cosmic Oz, golly my Bucky, you know what I mean? Look at medallions, Gucci gold. Yeah, he talking about first movie marked up Mekhi Fife and just yummy going that shit going spazzing out. But that album was well balanced. So you had the chick tracks. They said one freeway, you know what I mean? What you could do with him and Jules. Jules Santana was like, you could tell he put his work on that one. Who Am I was one of the deepest songs you could ever hear. I'm like, yo, like that dude really spit his life on that one. What's really good with Cam and him, man? That they set it off on that, man. Then you brought the my man that spit on the by the time shit touched the streets. What's his name?
Hell real.
Hell Rail, like they gave him shine. Yeah, he went to jail. They like, yo, put this
Yeah.
shit on. Boom. Bang that out.
But
Bigge
I say
Dipset.
at the end of this day, you know what I mean, it was a great era. Great era, 03, 04, carrying on. And after that, the next year, you know, Jim Jones started dropping his solo stuff. But shit, we want to get off of her and stuff and his pod. You know what I mean? Like I said, today was anniversary of both these albums. Went through it and stuff. Great albums. Got time, check both of them albums out. Tomorrow we'll be back on the NBA parlay at 5:00. And let's make that money tomorrow and stuff. We out. My opinions are flex.